Hey guys, what's up? It's Jamieson Beatz from Elevate Studios, and today I'm going to be talking about tracking out stems from FL Studios. You might want to do that because let's say somebody has to record vocals over some music that you've made, right, before it is mixed. So they might want wave files because that's less CPU intensive, or they're going to mix it for you after you've recorded or whatever. They will still want wave files for the same reason. It's less CPU intensive. Or somebody else is just going to work on the same music that you're working on and they're using a different DAW than the one that you use. Alright, so it's helpful to export everything as wave files that they can manipulate and add to. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so we have a project right here that I'm going to use to demonstrate everything. First, let's just listen to the project a little bit. Alright, so that's the project. It's like a rock with some hip hop parts. And let's say I want to send out the tracks from that project to somebody else to mix for me. The first thing that I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to route all of my sounds to a mixer track. I've already done that, but if you don't know how to do that, then for instance the bass, I'm using Contact for bass. I would just put this number here, or you can do it here as well, or you can select the track that you want and you go to the mixer, and then you can right click here, go to channel routing and click route selected track channel to this track, or you can just hit Ctrl and L. Another thing is, if you want to do more than one at the same time, you can right click to select more of them, go to the mixer, and then you can do route selected channel starting from this track. Alright, so that would, if you do this, do all of them coming over here. Once you have all of your instruments, your samples and everything routed to your mixer, the next thing you're going to want to do is name all of your mixer inserts. Alright, so here I have kick, then snare, then hats, toms, overhead, rooms, bass, and so on. Something that is recognizable and easy for anybody to understand. And it doesn't have to be a long name. For instance, here I have a tambourine, but I just put tam for short. Once you put all of the names, the next thing you're going to want to do is put them in an order that makes sense. For instance, I have all of my drums together, then I have my bass, then I have all of my melodic instruments, and then I have some more percussive instruments at the end. If you have a long project, especially if you have vocals already recorded, then it makes sense to put everything in an order that is easy to follow and somebody can just find anything that they're looking for easily. There's something that I learned from a guy on YouTube called Spectre Sounds Studios, and that's the numbering. So you will notice that each of my tracks has a number. Start at 0, 1, and then you go up to any number of tracks that you have, any number of inserts. Right, the reason we put in that 0 here is for when we export it, it will always end up in the order of the first one that you have here will be the first one in a list, wherever that list is, once it is based on the name. Right, so put 0, 1 for whatever your first instrument is, and then 0, 2, and continue that way until you have numbered all of your instruments. You'll see why that's important a little later. Once you have everything named, everything numbered, you have them in an order that makes sense, the next thing you're going to want to consider is whether or not you're going to track them out wet or dry. If you're going to track them out wet, then you can just go ahead and track it out right now. If you're going to track it out dry, then there's a few things you have to pay attention to. For instance, if you're working with distorted guitars or that kind of thing like I have here, some mixers might actually want a dry track, meaning not even the distortion on it, so that they can tweak it later. They can put a distortion sound that they prefer that might fit the mix better on it. Another thing you should always think of when you're trying to do dry tracks is delays, reverbs, things like choruses and so on. I recommend always exporting a dry set of tracks and a wet set of tracks. That way the mix engineer can pick out what he doesn't like, and if there's something that he really wants to change, he doesn't have to contact you to change it. He can change it himself. So in this case, if I wanted to export dry stems, I would turn off guitar rig on this channel. I would also turn it off on this channel. I always recommend tracking out without any panning, so that the mix engineer has the option of panning everything wherever he wants. And the next step is to actually track it out. Now FL has a function for that. You go to export and then wave. I suggest you always make a folder for you to put your stems in. So I'm going to, he is all stems, and I'm going to label it wet. Go into that folder, and for the name I'm going to put an underscore. I'll show you why in a little while. Save. Leave remainder on. Wave bit depth 24. For your resampling quality, put it 64 point sync or higher, and always put on split mixer tracks. That is for when you're going to export stems. What this means is each mixer track will be exported by itself. Then you can go ahead and click start. Alright, once it's exported, you can go and find it. You will notice that all of the tracks are named underscore underscore and then the name of the insert. You'll also notice that you have current, I have delay, I have reverb, I have insert 44. Those are channels that actually had plugins on them or something is routed to them. Alright, so I don't need any of those, so I'll go ahead and delete them. Then I'm going to open a software called Total Commander. Total Commander is a software that you can get for free. If you use it for free like I'm using it now, every time you open it, it will show the window asking you to click one of the free buttons. That it will tell you which button to click. Then I'm going to go to the folder. I'm going to select all of them by clicking one and clicking shift and clicking the opposite one. I'm going to go to multi-rename tool. At the search and replace area, I'm going to put an underscore. So that means it's going to search for an underscore in name and replace it with clear. Click start, and that's done. And now all of them are neatly named. Alright, so notice that they are in the order that we had them on the mixer. Now if I take each of them, or all of them I should say, except master, I don't want master, and I drag them into FL Studios. Notice that it loads up in the same order, and it will do that in any DAW that you are using as well, or whoever you're sending it to is using. Alright guys, so that was it for tracking out stems from FL Studios. I really hope that was helpful. If it was, please like, share, subscribe, and have a great time making music, guys. Peace.